Sausages, a British staple. Bangers and mash, a full English, a quick dinner fix. You trust what lands on your plate, but that trust might be killing you. From mechanically separated mystery meat to sodium levels that could send your blood pressure through the roof, some of Britain's favourite sausage brands are hiding serious dangers. Coming in at number 11, we have Richmond Sausages. Richmond has sat in British fridges for decades. The red and white packaging promises a classic taste, a family favourite since 1917, trusted by millions. But here is what they do not tell you on the front of the pack. Richmond sausages have been criticised repeatedly for containing as little as 42% pork in some varieties. The rest, rusk, water, pork fat, and a cocktail of additives including flavour enhancers, preservatives and stabilisers designed to extend shelf life at the expense of your health. For seniors, this matters deeply. You think you are eating protein. You think you are fueling your muscles, supporting your recovery after illness, maintaining your strength, but you are consuming fillers, sodium and processed ingredients that offer minimal nutritional value. A single Richmond sausage can contain over half a gram of salt. Eat 2 or 3 with your breakfast and you have already consumed a significant portion of your daily sodium limit before lunch even arrives. The NHS recommends adults consume no more than 6 grams of salt per day. High sodium intake is directly linked to elevated blood pressure. For those already managing hypertension or taking blood pressure medication like ACE inhibitors or beta blockers, this is not a minor concern. It is a daily risk sitting on your plate, disguised as comfort food. And the texture. Many consumers have reported a mushy, almost paste-like consistency. When you cut into a Richmond sausage, there is no snap from a natural casing, no firm bite from quality meat. Instead, you get a soft, uniform interior that suggests heavy reliance on mechanically recovered meat and excessive water injection. This is not the hearty, meaty sausage you remember from decades past. This is a processed imitation sold at a budget price, with your health paying the real cost. The betrayal here is simple. Richmond trades on nostalgia and trust. The branding evokes memories of family dinners and Sunday mornings, but the product inside that plastic sleeve is a far cry from what a proper British sausage should be. Your grandmother would not recognise it. At number 10, we have Wall's Sausages. Wall's is another household name. You see it in every supermarket, every corner shop, every petrol station. The blue and red branding suggests tradition, reliability, British heritage stretching back generations. But peel back that marketing and the reality is troubling. Wall's sausages have faced criticism for low meat content and high levels of mechanically separated meat. In some products, the pork content hovers around the same disappointing levels as Richmond. The filler content is high, the sodium is high, and the additives list reads like a chemistry experiment conducted by accountants trying to cut costs. For seniors, the concern extends beyond what is in the sausage. It is what that sausage does inside your body over time. Excessive sodium strains the kidneys. If you are over 60 and your kidney function is already declining naturally with age, adding unnecessary salt accelerates that decline. It forces your heart to work harder. It raises fluid retention. It quietly worsens conditions you may not even realize you have. According to the British Heart Foundation, high blood pressure affects around 1 in 4 adults in the UK. Among those over 65, that figure rises dramatically. Every unnecessary gram of sodium contributes to this silent epidemic. Wall's promises a satisfying meal. What they deliver is a sodium-laden, filler-heavy product that prioritizes profit margins over your well-being. The sizzle in the pan sounds appealing. The smell of cooking sausages might trigger warm memories. But the aftertaste of betrayal lingers far longer than any momentary pleasure. Most people never learn which brands are actually safe. But stick around. The solution is coming at the very end of this video, and it could change how you shop forever. Now at number 9, we have Ye Olde Oak Sausages. Ye Olde Oak. The name evokes images of traditional craftsmanship, perhaps a village butcher in a thatched cottage carefully preparing sausages by hand using recipes passed down through generations. The branding leans heavily into this nostalgic imagery. Oak trees, old English fonts, promises of heritage. But the product tells a completely different story. Ye Olde Oak sausages, particularly their tinned varieties found in supermarkets across the UK, have been criticised for containing mechanically separated chicken and pork rather than whole cuts of meat. Open one of those tins and the smell hits you immediately. It is metallic, Industrial, nothing like the aroma of freshly made sausages from your local butcher. The texture is soft, almost unnervingly so. When you slide one of these sausages onto your plate, it wobbles. There is no firmness, no structure. The taste is salty, artificial, and bears little resemblance to a properly crafted British banger. For seniors, tinned and processed meats carry additional risks. The canning process requires high sodium content for preservation. A single serving can deliver a sodium punch that pushes you dangerously close to your daily limit in one sitting. And the mechanical separation process? It extracts meat from bones using high pressure, resulting in a paste-like product that includes cartilage, bone fragments, and connective tissue ground down beyond recognition. This is not what your body needs. This is not what your heart needs. And it is certainly not what the charming branding promised you when you picked up that tin. The betrayal of trust here is particularly sharp. Ye Olde Oak sells an image of heritage and quality with every package. What arrives in that tin is industrial food processing at its most cynical. At number 8, we have Heck Sausages. Heck markets itself as a premium, family-run alternative to the big industrial brands. The packaging is bright, cheerful, and promises 97% pork content in some ranges. The company shares photos of the founding family. They tell stories about their Yorkshire farm. It sounds impressive, does it not? But here is where it gets complicated. While Heck does deliver on meat content in some ranges, they have faced criticism for inconsistent quality control across their product lines. Some consumers have reported finding gristle, unexpected chewy textures, and off-putting flavors that suggest not all batches meet the same standard. More concerning for seniors is the sodium content. Even in their supposedly healthier ranges, some Heck sausages contain over 1 gram of salt per sausage. If you're eating 2 sausages with your meal, that is 2 grams of salt from sausages alone. Add in the rest of your meal, perhaps some bacon, maybe some buttered toast, a splash of brown sauce, and you are likely exceeding recommended limits before you push back from the breakfast table. For those managing heart conditions, kidney disease, or taking medications that interact with sodium levels, this is a genuine health hazard hiding behind cheerful branding and family-friendly marketing. Heck promises a better sausage. They charge a premium price for that promise, yet they deliver inconsistency and hidden salt that undermines the health-conscious image they work so hard to project. The branding says family values and farm-fresh quality. The sodium content says something else entirely. What is the worst sausage experience you have ever had? That packet you opened only to find something grey, slimy, or smelling nothing like pork? Drop your story in the comments below. I want to hear about it. Coming in at number 7, we have Tesco Finest Sausages. Tesco Finest, the premium range from Britain's largest supermarket. Gold lettering on the packaging, sleek design, promises of superior ingredients and careful sourcing. You pay more because you expect more, but are you actually getting it? Tesco Finest sausages have received mixed reviews from consumers and food critics alike. While the meat content is higher than their budget everyday value range, complaints persist. Inconsistent seasoning between batches, variable texture depending on which factory produced them, and that familiar issue that keeps appearing, sodium. A single Tesco Finest sausage can contain well over half a gram of salt. The premium price does not buy you premium health benefits. It buys you marginally better ingredients wrapped in marketing designed to justify a higher cost and make you feel good about your purchase. For seniors, the danger lies in the assumption of quality. You see that Gold Finest label, you think safe. You think carefully crafted by experts who care. But supermarket-owned brand premium ranges are still mass-produced in factories. They are still subject to the same cost-cutting pressures as budget lines. They are still laden with salt to enhance flavour and extend shelf life. The betrayal here is subtle but real. Tesco positions Finest as the responsible choice for discerning shoppers who care about what they eat. Yet the sodium content rivals budget brands. The quality control remains inconsistent, and your health remains at risk despite paying those premium prices. Number 6 brings us to Sainsbury's Taste the Difference sausages. Sainsbury's Taste the Difference follows the same playbook as Tesco Finest. Premium branding with elegant packaging, higher price point displayed proudly, implied superiority over everything else in the chilled aisle. But the reality once again falls short of the promise. Consumer reviews highlight issues with texture, flavor consistency, and that ever-present problem of excessive sodium. Some batches have been described as bland despite the premium positioning. Others have raised concerns about visible fat content that exceeds what the packaging imagery suggests. For seniors, particularly those watching their cholesterol levels on doctor's orders, saturated fat is a critical concern. The British Heart Foundation warns that excessive saturated fat intake raises LDL cholesterol. That is the dangerous kind that clogs arteries and increases heart attack risk over time. A sausage marketed as premium should not be a vehicle for hidden cardiovascular danger. Sainsbury's asks you to taste the difference, but the difference is often negligible at best. The sodium is still high, the saturated fat remains concerning, and the premium price buys you little more than fancier packaging and misplaced confidence that you are making a healthy choice. Do not go yet. The solution comes at the very end of this video, and it could protect your heart, your kidneys, and your peace of mind. Most people never learn this information, but you will. If this is helping you stay safer at the store, hit subscribe. It is free and it means you will never miss these exposés that could save your health. At number 5, we have Iceland sausages. Iceland positions itself as the budget-friendly option for families watching their spending, and there is nothing wrong with being cost-conscious. Times are hard, energy bills have skyrocketed, food prices keep climbing, but when it comes to food safety and nutritional quality, the cheapest option often carries the highest hidden cost. Iceland sausages have faced criticism for extremely low meat content in some ranges. Budget sausages from Iceland have been found to contain as little as 32% pork. Think about that for a moment. Less than a third of what you're eating is actually pork. The remaining 68%? Water to add weight and reduce costs. Rusk to bulk it out cheaply. Pork fat scraped from processing waste. Soya protein as a cheap filler, and a laundry list of additives designed to create the illusion of a sausage without the substance of one. For seniors on fixed incomes, pensions that do not stretch as far as they used to, the temptation to save money on groceries is completely understandable. But these savings come at a price your body pays silently over months and years. Low meat content means low protein when you need protein most to maintain muscle mass as you age. High filler content means empty calories that contribute to weight gain. High sodium means strain on your heart and kidneys with every bite. The betrayal here is economic as much as nutritional. Iceland markets affordability as caring about families, but the true cost is measured in health consequences that accumulate over time, like compound interest working against you. A few pence saved today could mean medical bills and health complications tomorrow. Here is a question worth considering. Why is it always the cheapest foods that seem to cause the most health problems? Coincidence, or something more deliberate? Number 4 is Asda Butcher's Selection sausages. Asda Butcher's Selection. The name conjures images of a skilled craftsman behind a counter. Perhaps he's wearing a striped apron, hand-selecting the finest cuts of British pork. The packaging reinforces this fantasy with rustic fonts and countryside imagery. Green hills, farm gates, the promise of quality. But the product inside tells a very different story. Consumer complaints about Asda Butcher's Selection sausages include reports of gristly textures that catch unpleasantly between your teeth, excessive grease that pools in the pan during cooking, leaving a slick residue that coats your tongue, a salty aftertaste that lingers unpleasantly long after you have finished eating. Some batches have been described as unappetizing in appearance even before cooking, discoloration visible through the plastic, uneven filling distribution creating lumpy, irregular shapes that no butcher worth their salt would ever allow to leave their counter. For seniors, these are not merely aesthetic concerns that fussy eaters complain about. Gristle and connective tissue are difficult to digest, particularly for those with weakened digestive systems or taking medications that affect stomach acid. Excessive grease indicates high saturated fat content, dangerous for cardiovascular health over time. And that salty aftertaste? It is your taste buds warning you about the sodium assault your body is absorbing. Asda promises butcher quality at supermarket prices. The reality is mass-produced, inconsistent, and potentially harmful to those who need to watch their health most carefully. The butcher in the branding is purely fictional. The health risks are entirely real. At number 3, we have Morrison's The Best Sausages. Morrison's the best. Another premium supermarket own brand promising superior quality, another disappointment hiding behind attractive packaging and reassuring language. Morrison's, the best sausages, have received complaints about flavour inconsistency, with some consumers reporting batches that taste bland and under-seasoned, while others describe versions that are overwhelmingly salty. Quality control appears variable depending on the production run and which supplier happened to provide the meat that week. This inconsistency is particularly concerning for a range marketed as the premium option. When you pay more, you expect reliability. You expect every pack to deliver the same experience. Instead, purchasing Morrison's the best sausages feels like playing a lottery with your dinner. But the deeper issue for seniors is the nutritional profile that remains problematic regardless of which batch you happen to get. Even premium supermarket sausages tend to be high in sodium and saturated fat. Morrison's, the best, is no exception to this troubling pattern. A single sausage can deliver a significant portion of your daily salt intake. If you are eating a full English breakfast on a Sunday morning, the way many British families have done for generations, you are likely exceeding safe sodium limits before you have finished your meal. Your heart and kidneys are paying for that tradition. For those managing diabetes, the combination of high fat and high sodium is particularly dangerous. It contributes to insulin resistance and cardiovascular strains simultaneously, a double threat to your health from a single breakfast item. Morrison's claims these are the best. Your body's response after years of consumption suggests otherwise. Have you noticed quality changes in supermarket sausages over the years? That sense that they are not as good as they used to be? Let me know in the comments what you have experienced. Number 2 is Co-op Irresistible Sausages. Co-op Irresistible. The name is deliberately enticing, almost seductive. The branding promises an indulgent experience, a sausage so good you simply cannot resist it. Premium quality from your local community supermarket, delivered with that co-op promise of ethical sourcing. But what you cannot see on the packaging is what should concern you most. Co-op Irresistible sausages have faced criticism for being overly fatty. Many consumers have reported that sausages shrink dramatically during cooking as fat renders out into the pan. What looked like a plump, satisfying sausage in the packet becomes a shriveled, greasy disappointment on the plate. You watch in dismay as your premium purchase loses half its size, swimming in a pool of rendered fat that splatters across your hob. The smell is of hot grease, not of quality pork cooking beautifully. For seniors, this excessive fat content is a direct threat to cardiovascular health. Saturated fat raises cholesterol. Raised cholesterol clogs arteries over months and years. Clogged arteries cause heart attacks and strokes. The chain of consequence is clear, well documented, and published in medical journals worldwide. And the sodium? Predictably high. The Co-op, like other supermarkets, relies on salt to enhance flavour and mask the deficiencies of mass-produced meat products. Your heart and kidneys bear the burden of that industrial shortcut. The irresistible promise is a lie dressed in premium packaging. What is truly difficult to resist is the mounting evidence that premium-branded supermarket sausages are no safer than their budget counterparts. The profit margins are higher, the marketing is more sophisticated, but the health risks remain stubbornly, dangerously the same. And at number 1, the brand to avoid above all others, Pork Farms sausages. Pork Farms has built its reputation on pork pies and sausage rolls, products found in petrol stations and supermarket meal deals across the country. But their sausage products carry serious concerns for health-conscious seniors. The meat content in some Pork Farm sausages is concerningly low, with fillers and additives making up a substantial portion of the product. You are not buying a sausage. You are buying a delivery system for salt and fat wrapped in a thin veneer of meat. Consumer complaints have highlighted issues with texture that disturb and disappoint. Some describe these sausages as mushy, as if the meat has been pulverized into a paste. Others report excessive greasiness that leaves your fingers and your conscience coated in regret. The product bears little resemblance to traditional British bangers that your parents and grandparents would have eaten. The flavour has been criticised as artificial, overwhelmingly salty, and lacking the depth you rightfully expect from a quality sausage. There is no herbaceous complexity, no peppery kick, just salt and fat and vague porkiness from an unknowable source. But the most serious concern is the cumulative health impact over time. Pork Farm sausages are high in sodium, high in saturated fat, and low in genuine nutritional value. For seniors managing blood pressure, heart conditions, or kidney function, regular consumption of these sausages is a genuine health hazard. Statistics paint a grim picture. According to Action on Salt, the average British adult consumes around 8 grams of salt daily. That is well above the recommended 6 grams that the NHS advises. Processed meats, including sausages, are among the primary culprits driving this dangerous overconsumption. For seniors whose bodies are less efficient at processing and excreting excess sodium, this overconsumption is particularly dangerous. Your kidneys work harder. Your heart strains against increased blood pressure. The damage accumulates silently, invisibly, with every bite. Pork Farms promises a taste of tradition. What they deliver is a processed product that prioritizes shelf life and profit margins over your well-being. The betrayal is complete. The risk is real. And for seniors, the consequences can be severe and irreversible. Here is something to think about as we move toward the solution. Is it not strange how billion-pound food companies keep having quality issues, yet their products remain on every supermarket shelf? Do you think the system protects consumers like you and me, or does it protect the food industry that funds it? But now, the moment you have been waiting for, the safe options that will not compromise your health. The first actually safe option is Musk's of Newmarket Sausages. Musk's has been crafting sausages in Suffolk since 1884. This is not marketing spin invented by an advertising agency. This is genuine heritage, verified by over a century of continuous operation in the same market town. 4 generations of the same family have perfected these recipes. Their sausages contain a minimum of 80% pork, sourced from trusted British farms with full traceability. You can find out which farm your meat came from. Try doing that with a supermarket brand. The ingredient list is short and completely understandable. Pork, rusk, seasoning, natural casings made from intestines, the way sausages have been made for centuries. No mysterious E numbers, no chemical preservatives, nothing your grandmother would not recognize. Crucially for seniors, Musk's sausages are lower in sodium than mass-produced alternatives. The flavor comes from quality meat and traditional seasoning developed over generations, not excessive salt designed to mask inferior ingredients and trick your taste buds. The texture is firm and satisfying, with a proper snap from the natural casing when you bite through. The way a sausage should be, the way you remember sausages being before industrial food production took over. Musk's operates under strict quality control, with production overseen on site by family members rather than outsourced to anonymous factories in industrial parks. When you buy a Musk's sausage, you know exactly what you are getting. There are no hidden fillers. No mechanically separated mystery meat, no betrayal of trust. For seniors watching their blood pressure, managing heart conditions, or simply wanting to eat real food that nourishes rather than harms, Musk's of Newmarket delivers genuine quality without hidden risks. You can order directly from their shop or find them at quality butchers and farm shops across East Anglia. The second recommendation is Cranston's Cumberland Sausages. Cranston's is a family butcher based in Cumbria, operating since 1914. Over a century of expertise in a region famous for its Cumberland sausage tradition. These are people who understand pork, who respect the craft, who would never compromise quality for profit margins. Their Cumberland sausages follow traditional recipes using high-quality British pork from local farms, distinctive seasoning with that characteristic peppery warmth, and natural casings that provide the texture industrial products cannot match. The meat content is high, typically over 80%, and the ingredient list is refreshingly simple. You can read every word and understand exactly what you're about to eat. No chemistry degree required. Cumberland sausages are traditionally made in a continuous coil rather than linked into individual portions. This method reduces processing and preserves the natural texture of the meat. It is how Cumberland sausages have been made in the Lake District for generations. Cranston's maintains this tradition faithfully, delivering a sausage that tastes handmade because it genuinely is. For seniors, Cranston's offers a safer alternative because quality is prioritized over cost-cutting at every stage. The sodium content is lower than supermarket brands because they do not need salt to hide inferior ingredients. The saturated fat, while present as in any sausage worth eating, comes from identifiable meat rather than rendered waste and mysterious fillers. The sourcing is transparent. The production is careful and supervised. The result is a sausage you can trust to be exactly what it claims to be. When you choose Cranston's, you are choosing a butcher who values reputation over rapid profit. A family business that knows their customers by name. A tradition worth supporting. That distinction matters for your health, your peace of mind, and the future of British food. Now you know which brands to avoid. Subscribe now, tap your remote, so you never get blindsided again.